Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren and welcome to Beauty and Bullies. It has been a fat minute. I've been filming a variety of tutorials for you today, so if you see all of this in 3 different videos, that's why. So for this video, I'm going to be doing a skin focus, kind of get ready with me thing. It's my new foundation routine. My new foundation routine. I had a request on how I contour and highlight on a daily basis, so I'm going to be focusing really on brush technique, the types of brushes I use, and why. So if you'd like to get half of this look, then just keep watching. I've had requests for a while now. I appreciate that you guys miss me. Thank you so much. Let's get started. My brushes are all filthy. I'm really sorry. I'm not like prepared to film, really. I'm going to start out by moisturizing with the Tarte Maracuja oil in this little roller ball thing. It's a pretty great little find. I would only use this if you have ridiculously dry skin, like myself, because this is just how I moisturize. I haven't been using thick moisturizers because it's summer and they tend to make my foundation melt, so I just put on like a dry oil like this or jojoba oil, or sometimes even like an argan milk kind of thing, and massage it into the skin. Gives my skin kind of like a natural sheen underneath my foundation, and it also moisturizes it. So I'm going to prime using the Benefit Pore Professional. Anyway, I'll put a little bit of that on the fingertips. I'm going to press it into the skin where I have the biggest pores, which is right here and on the sides of my nose. It also will fill in really fine lines, so on your forehead if you have any of those. And I use my hands really flat to sweep it across the rest of my face and out. That way you get more even wear throughout the day. You won't just have like full-on foundation where you primed and not anywhere else. I kind of on a Tarte kick lately. So today for foundation, I'll be using the Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-hour full coverage foundation. This is really nice. I have a really hard time finding full coverage foundations that don't make me look like a cakey mess because my skin's so dry. And this one's really fabulous, so I love that. I will be mixing in my Cover FX. I'm using medium sand, which is way too light for me right now. Probably not for my face, but you know, for the rest of my body, so I don't look psychotic. So I'm gonna put quite a bit of these drops in my hand, like that. Foundation. It's probably way too much. This stuff goes like a really long way. Just gonna apply it and kind of all over my facial area. I'm gonna use my Morphe M439. My brushes are filthy. Sorry about it. Just gonna buff that in circular motions. And drag it down in short downward strokes. Make sure you take it down the neck as well. Sometimes when my brushes are like really dirty or like really oily, kind of probably because I'm using an oil as a moisturizer, they'll be a little bit streaky on the application. So if that happens, just keep buffing and it should all blend together. Next I'm going to be using my Tarte Radiant Creamy Concealer in Ginger. This is a yellow undertone like Custard is, but it's significantly darker. I've been in the sun a lot lately. I like to wear Ginger in the summer and Custard in the fall, winterish times. I'm not going to use a ton as I cover my face, but I don't really have any blemishes or anything like that going on right now. So just really concentrating under the eyes and on the redness around my nose. I'm going to use that same M439 and stipple it in. I'm going to concentrate on really pushing it into the skin as opposed to swiping it. Really quickly before that creases, I'm I'm going to be using a pressed powder. If I can get this up. This is in my NARS Stephen Klein palette. I'm going to be using shade from the Paloma contouring duo. And just press that up underneath my eyeballs so that the powder doesn't crease. I really love this powder. It's really silky and it doesn't cake very easily. If you want to, if you get any fine lines around your mouth or you're worried about creasing around your nose, you can apply the powder there as well. That way you can still look dewy on the rest of your face without worrying about caking up too bad. The Real Techniques contouring brush is what I use to do that. I'm also going to use that to go in with the contouring shade right here in that same Paloma duo. Knock off the excess a little bit. And I'm just going to lightly start chiseling out my cheekbones. I use the very tip of the round part of this brush. And as I run out of product, I tend to push down a little more. As I have less and less product, I'm going to push it up into my temples. And that's going to give you a really nice defined cheekbone and slimmer face shape. Depending on your actual face shape, contouring is going to be something you do differently no matter who you are. I personally have a pretty round face. I have a heart-shaped face, so I try and make my cheekbones a little more chiseled, which I think is something that everyone really does when they're contouring, because it makes you appear a little more slim. But since my forehead is a little round, I contour on the sides. Excuse me. If you naturally have a narrow forehead, or if your hairline comes down kind of like this, I don't think you need to contour your forehead at all. I also like to go along my jawline just to sharpen it up a little bit. And as you run out of less and less product, go ahead and drag that down your neck a little bit, just like you would with a bronzer or your foundation. Again, this will be done differently depending on who you are. If you naturally have a more square jawline, I wouldn't suggest accentuating that. You can. You totally can. You can refresh it. But I personally would try and maybe soften the face a little bit. To contour my nose, now I'm going to suggest a video down below that I just watched by Goss. He updated his nose contouring video because he does it differently depending on the nose shape, which I think is really, really important because a lot of people just do like lines straight down the sides. But I'll link that down below. I am not a master nose contourer. I just do what I can. I'm going to be using a Real Techniques base shadow brush. It's like a fluffy brush, but it's kind of tapered on the side, so it's a little more thin. I'm just going to put a tiny bit on the tip. I'm going to follow from the inner corner of my eyeball and kind of cheat where I have a bump right here in the middle so that it's not bulbous there. Because if you don't cheat it, it'll just accentuate the shape that your nose already is, as opposed to making it appear thinner or more refined or whatever you're going for. I'm going to put it a little bit under the tip to make it look a little bit shorter. A little V shape there. You can add like a little button by putting a line here. And if you really want to, you can narrow your nostrils by putting a little bit of dark powder on the sides. And if that's a little too crazy for you, this is a lot of nose contouring for me. So you can take like a fan brush or any kind of clean, fluffy brush and just kind of feather around it, and that'll soften it up. And that's what I do if I'm contouring with powders. If you're contouring with creams, you can take your foundation brush or a foundation brush and you can cut up the side a little bit to make it sharper, or you can stipple over top to make it softer, whatever you're looking to do. For bronzer, I'm going to go ahead and use what's left of my I stopped watching the red dot and it stopped recording on me. I just applied my bronzer, but I went ahead with my NARS Laguna bronzer and an angled Morphe blush brush. I like using angled blush brushes for bronzer rather than paddle brushes whenever I'm trying to really focus on contouring, because these short bristles are going to be a little more stiff and the long ones are going to buff it out a little more. So what I generally do is I'll dip into my product, get it all over the brush, And then I'll stick the short bristles right over the contour and let the long ones kind of rest where they may. And just back and forth, circular motions to warm up the face. I do drag it along my jawline as well in the same manner with the short bristles on the contour and the long ones kind of dusting where they may. I don't want to do this too crazy because I already did bronzer. Oh yeah, and I forgot to contour my Cupid's bow. Use that same brush that I used for my nose contour and just apply it right in between my little Cupid's bow there. A lot of times when you apply foundation, it makes the face look rather flat. If you also want to powder your lower lip, you can apply a little bit of dark below there as well to create more of a shadow. Alright, next is highlights. I recently purchased the Park Avenue Princess palette by Tarte, but the bronzer is really light. I knew it was, whoops, sorry, I'm like blinding you. I knew that it was good for fair complected people, so if you have a hard time finding contour colors that don't make you look orange, or a bronzer that again doesn't make you look orange, I would definitely suggest this palette. But for me, right now, that's the bronzer on my arm. I don't even think you can see it on camera. So, but there is also this really pretty highlight and blush in here as well, so I'm going to be using those on my face today. This is a Morphe brush from my 18-piece vegan set. I don't know, it doesn't have a name whenever you get sets, but I really like it for highlight. It reminds me a lot of the Anastasia highlighting brush. So I'm just going to take that along my cheekbones. I'm out of setting spray. Usually I wet my highlight brush with a couple of spritz of any kind of setting spray that I have. Ooh. But this highlight's really bright. So I'm just going to take that along my cheekbone from about here all the way up around your eye socket, kind of into your eyebrow. This is why I don't do brows before I do my skin. You can bring it up as far as you want, but where you start getting bigger pores, you're going to see a lot more texture. So if you have big pores all the way to back here, I would start your highlight about where they end and carry it up over the smoothest part of your skin. It should be where the light would naturally kiss your face. So that's where I'm going to apply it. I never really heard much about Tarte highlights, but they just came out with another one that's vegan friendly. I don't know. So I'm going to apply this on my Cupid's bow as well. It really makes your top lip look bigger, and it also makes your lipstick pop really well. I'm going to apply that down the bridge of my nose and really focus it on the tip there. And last but not least, to meld it all together, I'm going to use just a big round top blush brush and that really beautiful blush. I can't speak. Blush that's in this palette. You meld it all together. I apply kind of in circular motions on the apples of my cheeks, just because I do have really big cheekbones. If you want to keep it slim, you can just do straight up alongside your contour. I meld the two together by going in circles. That's about it. Alrighty guys, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. Also let me know in the comment section what you'd like to see next on my channel. What else? Oh, if you want to get this eye look, I will link it below as well whenever it gets up and ready to go. Sorry the dogs are being so loud. I love you all and I will see you next time.